Hey guys, it's Ryan here. Just finished watching the Uncharted 4 A Thief's End gameplay reveal at PlayStation Experience, and as you all know, I'm a passionate supporter of Naughty Dog and their immaculate attention to detail. As I try to catch up with the world of gaming as I've been out of commission for a couple of weeks, I thought I'd share a few thoughts on my takings from the Uncharted 4 gameplay and give a general interpretation of where Naughty Dog is heading with this title. What seems apparent from Uncharted 4 straight away is its much more mature tone. Stylistically, it's darker, it's grittier, and feels rough, but in a very positive way. Nathan Drake looks older, and from the animation, it seems like he's showing his age as his movements feel clumsier, and he does appear to almost struggle with pulling himself around during his traversal in familiar looking environments. It feels extremely natural than in previous games, because before, I felt there was an inconsistency between his flawless parkour abilities as opposed to him tripping and having balance issues while running across rubble and bumpy terrain. Here, there's far more weight to his movement, and he shows a lot more hesitance and nervousness while maneuvering the unstable environments, and for a character who is supposedly used to it, it adds a level of tension to the platforming. He definitely appears to be completely out of his element. Perhaps he hasn't been adventurous in quite some time, because I'm getting a sense that he's supposed to be retired. What I was really impressed by was the slower pace. In previous games, there was an emphasis on energy and dramatic set pieces that caused both Nathan Drake and his adversaries to constantly shift between fighting and fleeing to avoid obstacles. In this section of gameplay, it feels far more improvised, and the dynamic in his momentum completely shifts when he's in danger. You no longer always have the upper hand and casually brushing off firefights as if they were nothing. Nathan actually has to evade enemies and outflank them, and the game is clearly taking a lot from what they learned in The Last of Us. As I said, his awareness and instinct completely changes when in a threatening situation. I'm not saying that this is The Last of Us with guns or that it should be, but stealth seems to have a greater role as Nathan takes out enemies quietly and uses the environment to gain an advantage. I've never really enjoyed the linear path that the series has set players on, and the openness in Uncharted 4 gives a greater feeling of choice to the player. I hope you don't even have to engage these enemies, and from the apparent line of sight meter, I have a feeling that you can complete this section without any form of combat needed. There does appear to be a greater focus on problem solving, which is part of the Naughty Dog style. Uncharted 4 noticeably seems to have implemented consideration to your actions in a big way, which is what they did immensely well in The Last of Us. It's still a shooter, and it hasn't left its roots, and thank goodness it hasn't, because the worst thing they could do is rely too heavily on The Last of Us mechanics and the game no longer feeling the same. Don't worry, it hasn't gone completely gloomy, there's still a sense of humour, and the awe-inspiring sucker punch followed by the quick grab of the rifle has solidified the franchise's death to adventure narratives like Indiana Jones. Uncharted 4 looks to have embraced the direction that shooters need to go, by adding a level of diversity, but by also staying true to the original concept. Anyway guys, that's enough from me. I could get deeply analytical here, but I don't want to. I just want to talk about visual impressions, and if you really concentrate on the animation and design elements, there is such a beautiful immersion here. I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is one of the most visually impressive games I've seen because of the little touches of the foliage and the character movement. If you like these kinds of videos, please let me know, and if there's anything you want me to talk about, by all means put it in the comments. I know I haven't kept my word, I'm beyond a busy man, but Christmas will give me a chance to talk about games a bit more. Make sure to like and subscribe, and if you like these videos, by all means share them with your friends, your family, or hey, even your followers. You'll be doing me an immense favour. Alright guys, see you soon.